Welcome to White House Studios. My name is Rosh. Years ago, when I was in the beginning of my career, I was talking with an old wedding photographer, and he was about ready to retire, and he was sharing some of his wisdom with me. And he talked about this time where this couple came to review their photographs. And the husband sat down, the wife sat down, and they're going through the photographs. And the husband looked at the photographer and said, "These are wonderful. I would like to just give you like $25 for them all and all the photographs and leave." And the photographer's like, I don't think so. This is a $200, $300 bill for these photographs. I mean, that's how much you ordered. And he said, "Yeah, I understand, but there's nothing you can do with these photographs right now. So I'm gonna offer you $50, take it or leave it." And the wife kind of looked over at the husband, and he just kind of waved her off like he knows what he's doing. And the photographer picked up the photographs and just ripped them all in half. And I think about that story. The wife was clearly upset at that point. The gentleman was infuriated, and he left, and nothing ever happened. They never came back. And basically saying, I didn't have to take that. They're not going to do this to me. And I'm thinking about this and say, could you get away with that today? Could you just rip those photos up or delete them or whatever it may be today? And is this something that wouldn't get out there and hurt your reputation? Or is it the right thing to do? Or is it the right attitude? I don't know necessarily ripping the photos up in front of them. But I do think as a photographer, there is the lesson that you need to stand your ground. And I think that is more important today than ever, to stand your ground as it relates to your pricing, as it relates to the way you work. Don't let somebody else take over your production. We've seen this many times where a client will come in and say, well, this is the way we do it. This is the way we want things done. We want all of your receipts. We want everything. You have to work these times for this much an hour, and we'll only pay this much for assistant. In other words, they take over everything and they try to tell you what to do. Look, they're hiring you. You need to be confident in who you are, in your production, in the way you do things. That does not mean you can't be flexible and work as a team. But whenever you have somebody that comes into your business to tell you how to run things, you're probably better off not working with them. Because no matter what, I would say 70% of the time, it happens once in a while that it's all okay, but most of the time, it doesn't go well. They're not satisfied. You didn't meet the specific expectations that they have set. And quite often in those situations, they haven't shared all of the expectations of what to expect. So that's another step, is always asking, what are your expectations? And in the end, when it came to that photographer, that wedding photographer, he certainly didn't hurt his relationship with that client any more than it had already been hurt. However, he may have lost out on other opportunities. And just because now you have a couple who's out there saying a bunch of bad things. They won't tell people why the photographer ripped everything up. They'll just say this guy was rude and he didn't work with us and he wasn't very nice. So today, with such a wide open world, with a situation where people can review you all over the place, it's important to understand as much as you can, work with people as much as you can, but stay in control of the situation. Stand your ground where you are, but also make sure you understand their expectations, make sure they understand your expectations, and when things are going, I guess, poorly, take control and do the very best you can. Now, I'm going to give you one last thing that I think is important. When you have a situation where somebody goes off and starts just bad-mouthing you everywhere, maybe on Google reviews, maybe it was another situation where they were just totally unrealistic and you couldn't reach an agreement and they go out there and they badmouth you. It does happen. I mean, many of us have faced that. And so what you can do is look for those reviews. Don't worry about trying to delete them. Take a moment and respond to them nicely. Don't justify yourself. Don't be defensive. And believe me, I'm somebody who can get very defensive about things. Just take a moment and say, I'm so sorry this happened. And this is what I can offer you. And maybe they'll come back and say, okay, let's try again, and it could work out. Or they could say something really nasty again, which is quite often what happens. Say one more really nice thing. Make it sound like you were trying to do your very best, everything you possibly can, and they may come back and be really rude again. Leave it there. Because now you've shown twice that you have worked hard to satisfy that customer. And they have shown 3 times that they're very unreasonable people. It works most of the time. I recommend that. People can read between the lines who are reading those reviews. And sometimes something like that, showing that you're willing to do your very best for the customer, will actually offer more opportunities than not. So share your experience. Have you had situations where you've had unreasonable people come into your studio, have tried to hire you, maybe after the shoot or even before the shoot? Unreasonable expectations. I want to hear about them in the comments below, and we'll talk to you next time.